have as effectively as possible, and making sure that all classroom space is indeed being used as a classroom. Two is taking a look at how we could upgrade our schools. In some situations, we are going to see a changing population in those schools as the bubble of students starts to move up in grades, and we want to look at how we can make our schools more appropriately fitted for the students that are going to be there. And three are the leasing options. And along with that, we are in continual conversations with the state to identify additional funding that they can give us so that we can build out new space. Because currently, the statute does limit school districts to build all construction through the School Development Authority. And so it's those are the limitations that we have, but we still think there's enough room to move there that we can get something done. The other comment that I wanted to make is just to clarify some of the changes that we've made to how the meeting is run. The first is the consolidation of public comments, public comment period. There are a couple people, they're actually not in this room today, but they had raised a lawsuit that was brought up between McGovern, I think it was McGovern versus Rutland, and it is a lawsuit about a school district that had two public comment periods. And the school district would go public comment period, open session, closed session, and then public comment period again. And it was determined that that is not appropriate and it's not fair to the public because sometimes those closed sessions are for an indeterminate amount of time. So that is why we've consolidated the public comment period to ensure that we are aligned with what statute and case law requires. But also, if you do want to speak about a non-voting item, you still have that ability to do that at the beginning of the meeting. And that was a statute change. It started, it was voted on under the last board in December, and at that time, the board wanted to push it through. This was the conversation that happened. I don't know how much of it is in the minutes because sometimes they're not in detail, but we could pull the video and you could look. And it was that they wanted to try to get it in place the January meeting, and that is why it was voted on in the caucus. But I will say that it was passed unanimously in that caucus meeting. The minutes are actually at the back of this book and are online. That is standard practice, the way the district is.
She was always missing at the meeting.
The minutes are provided.
She was always missing at the
in,
meeting.
for the next meeting. The minutes from the last meeting are presented at the next meeting, and that's in line with how the district has always functioned. In terms of the videotaping of public comment, I will say for most of the history of this district, we did not videotape public comment, and that is not a policy. I think the board did believe, myself included, that it was a policy, and I asked about it in the December meeting when we voted on the policy change, and that is not included in there. It is at the discretion of the board, and so I will own that change. I took the feedback that I got from other board members and from the city leadership team, and it is a change that I feel is appropriate, but I do want to reiterate that the public is still allowed to comment. It is audio taped and it is minuted. And I would just like to ask our council if he can confirm that that is in conformance with the law and with how most other districts in the state of New Jersey conduct their meetings.
Yes, Board President, it's correct that the board is not legally required to videotape any public comments. We've been over this at the last two meetings and discussed this. There is no legal requirement under the Public Records Act, Meeting Act, that you record public comment. And most districts do not record public comment as part of their practice. They do record the meeting and the board members in and of themselves. So I do confirm with the state.
Are there any other comments from the board members?